let's do this. How are y'all doing today? Welcome back. It's a lovely Thursday. Got my glasses on already. Lovely Thursday. Wearing a Link to the Future shirt that I got a couple years ago. How's everybody doing? We are back working on the last couple pieces of the mausoleum set that we got left to do. I do have a little bit of other touch-up work to do on the other stuff that I worked on, but it's inconsequential to what's getting done. Mostly just touching up skulls and whatnot, and fixing anything that I screwed up. Like, let's just say on this, I put the smash. I put the vines climbing up this, and the super glue frosted that. So I gotta go in and fix that. Yeah, I think that looks good. It's glued on there good. It's not going anywhere. I got one more done of those. This is gonna get glued on to something else. I haven't figured out what yet. I need to the wrong color. But yeah, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna knock out these two pieces real quick. It's gonna give me, well, this one is probably the better one of the two. First thing we're gonna do is bang out real quick the stonework, and then at least get a base coat on the brass. This building, what I did for the other one is I did a brass, copper, or bronze roofing, and we're going to do that today because that's a quick, easy way to make something look cool. So what I do for this is I take 4-block bronze, which is the base color that I use for most of my golds, brasses, bronze, coppers, any really light yellow, and that's what we use for the base on this. Now what I have here, this is obviously not a standard pot of paint. This is what I use. Consistency of this paint I made to run through an airbrush, but it still works really well because it's a base paint. It still works really well. Welcome to the chat room. Okay, so anyone's wondering, Guinness is right there. Yeah, he's still here. Guinness is still here, don't worry. Straight the camera out. Gotta be correct with the horizons. We're actually gonna do, yeah, let's just do that now. It's fine. I am gonna use a slightly bigger brush than I normally would. I'm gonna be using a medium shade brush, Citadel. It's actually one of my favorite brushes that they make. And I'll throw that paint on the floor. We're just gonna give this a liberal coating. See, even though this has been thinned down a bunch, it's still super coverage. Got a bunch of coverage on it. Now on these, I am doing a verdigris paint, a verdigris effect on these. So I think that just makes them look a lot better. Makes them look more interesting than just plain copper roofing, which I like copper roofing anyway. Yeah. And it's very easy to do. If you are interested in trying to do a verdigris effect, or a patina as it's called, as some people call it, this method is super duper easy because the paint does all the work for you. So the first thing you gotta do, obviously, is get your base coat on. I gotta get my base coat on. There we go. Most people will say, and I've said this in the past myself, that if you're going to be painting metallic paints, always paint whatever you're going to be painting in metallic and black first, because that helps the color shine through. Then the advent of the base paints, I don't think that's necessary anymore. I feel like these cover so well that don't matter. Now you can see it is a little streaky. That is because it's so thin. But it's better to be thin and do two thin coats than it is to glop paint on, per se. Two thin coats. On this one, we're gonna do this side, and then I'm actually gonna dry brush the rest of the model. But I want to try and show how this is done, more so than the actual doing it. Typically, when you're doing a large area model, you want to be painting the largest area first, i.e. The dry brushing. So on this, all of the stonework, which is going to be very messy, you want to do that first. Alright. Don't forget to turn your models over. Go, and there. Okay, so that's the base coat on that. There's still some streaking. So we'll just do it quick. It's not going to matter that much because we are going to be putting more colors onto this. We're going to be putting more colors onto this, so the lack or the amount of streaking that's on this really won't matter. Alright, we're going to let that dry. And while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and break out the ye old driest of brushes. And we're going to real quick slambo out some color onto the rest of this model. So like the rest of this whole section here, all the stonework. Now what I do for this is I get a big chunky brush. This brush has been used several times to do this same technique on many models. And you don't want to use a brush that's good because it ruins the brush. It just destroys it. And you get your darker, a lightening of colors. So what I do is I do Eshin Gray. I went over this last time, but I'll do it again. Eshin Gray, which is a lighter than what I have there. Also a different tone. The Mechanicus Standard Gray is a little bluish. This is not. So I do the Eshin Gray, then Dawnstone, and then a final highlight of Celestial Gray. And then I tie them all together by using black wash, thinned down, heavily thinned down. It really pulls the whole room together. If you don't get that Big Lebowski reference, you're probably too young. I just want my carpet back, man. Yeah, that carpet really pulled the room together. Yeah. A second here. I am going to here. Out. Come back in. Me. Alright. So it's me and one other person here in the stream. Who else is in here? It says that there's just me and Nightbot. Same thing. Huh. Oh, we got 3 people in stream. Alright. I say you shouldn't worry about your numbers. Just do it for the love of the work. I say, So you get a bunch of gloppy glue on your brush. Bring it to the paper towel. Work it into everything. Now we're doing a pretty heavy dry brush, so you don't want to get too much of it off. And then when this goes on, this color is not going to look too impressive because it is just a little different. But in the long run, this will help. So that's why this is a much heavier dry brush. And you can bring this up to any intensity that you want to. Like you can bring this up to a white, like marble-esque, or you can keep it, I wouldn't say simple, stone dark color. Some more paint on my. There we go. Go ahead and do this here. Erp. There we go. That's better. So I'm not even gonna joke. Right now, I'm trying to just go for completion. Monday, Tuesday rather, when we come back, there will be more Zubat, more truly creative painting. I know this isn't necessarily everyone's ideal creative outlet, this style. What we're doing here. This is definitely a little bit more tutorial based due to that I am doing it for someone in a specific style. So I understand that, but you know, you gotta make ends meet. You gotta finish stuff up. Really don't have too much left of this at all, which is a huge relief because it's kind of sitting over me. But if anyone else wanted something done, we're available. You can talk to me. What they say, it's not about the road, or not about the destination, it's about the journey. Much more gray. Trying to get rid of some of this blue. And last week we raided the Jimmy the Brush paint stream. He was pretty happy about that. Obviously, people like when they get raided, it's fun. I don't know what to do about it yet. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Too many people. I get all scared. painting this first was a bad idea. And I got all this gray to work with. Let's go back in and redo that. Oh well. Live and learn. See, and the thing about painting, when doing this hobby, that's such a good thing, is that there's so many easy, basic techniques that you can use and achieve really good results. Some people get very intimidated by miniature painting or art in general. And yes, this is art. If you don't think this is art, then I call you a liar. I strongly disagree with your opinion. This is very much art because it takes thought and skill. And yeah, there are techniques that help, but there's techniques that help in everything. You have to come up with an idea and a plan on how you want it to look. And that's definitely part of the artistic process for any kind of art. I watch a lot of art streams on Twitch now. Drawing streams and whatnot. Other painters. And yeah, it's a valid form of art no matter what anybody says. Piece of dried paint off the end of this. It's in the way. And when you're doing your own style, your own art, you're going to find different ways of doing things also. So it's not like this is the definitive way of not even just painting this, but painting in general. I mean, there's so many different techniques. Airbrushing, which I've done, works fantastic. I've seen people use oil paints on miniatures, which I'm not even going anywhere near that. That to me is way outside my comfort zone. Really, that's all it boils down to, is what you're comfortable with doing. I personally really enjoy acrylics. Water-based, the cleanup's very easy. They're pretty darn easy to come by. They're just in me, they're good. They mix well. Some of the downsides you'll see, some people will tell you, and they're just a different medium. Oil paints are they dry a lot slower, so they will offer significant more time to blend. Bob Ross worked strictly in oil paints on The Joy of Painting, which, hey, listen, it's good enough for Bob Ross. It should be good enough for everybody. It just intimidates me. A little shake. Oh, Groundhog's here. What's up, brother? Not much. How you doing? He's still alive, thankfully. How are things going over there in Combat Land? Not much on my side. Just working on this. I'm gonna do a crash course on how to do a verdigris on brass or bronze or copper. In order to do that, I gotta paint the rest of the gray on here first. Now on these, there are two of everything. So There are 2 of these buildings, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make them different from each other. Enough so that when my friend who I'm painting this for, when he uses it, his players and himself and his whoever DMs for him, or if he's DMing, you can identify each section. That's kind of important, I think. Like, oh, which, alright, so I'm going to go into the cemetery. Alright, so you go in the cemetery. There's several mausoleums and graves, rows of graves. There's a few trees. What are you going to do? Alright, so I'm going to go over to the one, that one over there. Which one? The one that's more green, or the one that's, gray or white. I have one that's made almost out of well, I tried to make it look like it's made out of marble. I think it came out pretty good looking, but get this stifled in there. This is even more of an overbrush at this point and a stifling than it's a dry brush. Dry brush will come when I change to the lighter colors. That really starts to make things pop out. And the wash on this, I'm probably actually going to use, I think I'm going to make this one darker, so I'm probably going to use straight Null Oil instead of the watered down 50/50 Null Oil. It will make it significantly darker, but I feel like that'll be the differencing. The other one's kind of light, so this one will be kind of dark. So how you doing, Groundhog? Is my audio working? It says it's on. Okay, good. Audio's working. That's good to hear. I know things aren't going really great over where you're at. I hope this is a welcome escape to the situation. You know, little things. Oh, shaking the whole table. Little things in life, man. Getting sent socks when you're deployed. Do you ever want socks when you're at home? No. Someone sends you socks when you're deployed. This is the greatest day ever. Tiny bits of things that give you comfort. Oh, I have this out. I'm going to go ahead and real quick. This is going to be... found this extra piece when I was cleaning up some stuff on top of my desk, and I moved some stuff around. I was like, oh no, another piece of terrain that I have to do. Great. This is small, easy. Real quick, just get this to match the other ones. I don't know about you, but I know when I was in the service and when I was deployed, we would get care packages. Families would send care packages. Schools would send care packages, and just things that you would consider very mundane: magazines, comic books, socks, bug spray, a whole bunch of super mundane things. Candy bars, power bars, things like that would come in these care packages, and it was just amazing. Like, it was like whoa. And you know, you can't thank people enough. It's crazy. It's crazy how the littlest things that wouldn't matter any other time of the year just matter so much. And the older I get, the more I see it. The more I see that the little things that people do, you know, matter more than the some grand gestures. Not all grand gestures. I mean, if, you know, Elon Musk wanted to pay for my house, I wouldn't be upset. That would mean a lot, but I don't think Elon's going to do that, even though he has enough money to buy my house 4 billion times over. I don't know if I mentioned this last time I was on stream, but I had a conversation with a friend of mine. We were hanging out and brought up that topic of Elon Musk. It came up. He's into investing, and my friend is into investing, and you know, he thinks a lot of Elon Musk. You know, and my response to him, this is 2 weeks ago. My response was, he's a wasted potential. The guy could be doing world-changing, world-saving things, and he's choosing to try to leave the planet. It's like, Brosif, just fix the planet. There's profit to be made doing that. Alright, so what I like to do is I like to try to generate a mid-tone by taking the next lightest color, and then on my dry brush pad, I like mixing it in, and it gives you a mid-tone. So you can get a 2-for-1 out of this. And this is a layer paint, so this stuff goes on. It's odd. It is almost transparent. Its opacity is, when it dries, almost low, like legitimately low. When it's wet, it looks stronger than it does. And when you're doing stuff like this, things change a lot when you start adding things like extra colors. Putting extra colors really changes how things look. So like, this looks all blah, but if you paint the fence black and you get color on the roses and the skulls, it changes the way it looks a lot. Okay, so we're going to stick with this mid-tone. We're going to go back to the building. Yeah, and this is just to show you how much it's going to change, brighten it up. I'm going to change the music. There we go. Yeah, Elon Musk, wasted potential. And then the guy only holds 2 patents. 2. No, 3. Sorry. He owns 3 patents. Everything else that he works with has been established technology that he did not invent. But he makes memes and he stays socially active on social media platforms, so a lot of people just eat it up. Nom nom nom. Eat it up. That's the second primary color without being blended, which is fine when you're doing stonework and dry brushing. It won't look bad usually. Sometimes you gotta make sound effects. So some people are trying to compare Elon Musk to Tesla and what the work that he did, and it's like, bro, you're not Tesla, you're an Edison. If you don't know the difference between Tesla and Edison, Edison bought patents and stole patents. Tesla tried to give away free electricity. Developed a electrical broadcasting system that was capable of delivering electricity without wires that you can just tap into. He set up a demonstration site in Long Island, in where was it? Patchogue? Might have been Patchogue, Long Island. They just took down the building maybe 10 years ago. He had essentially, not a Tesla coil, but there were a Tesla tower. And he built this thing that broadcast electricity using the ground, and you could tap into it, and it was indiscriminate. Didn't matter who you were, but you can get free electricity. And boy, did people not like him. Now we're going to go with the second color, Pure. It's not going to be pure still, but because of the amount of stuff on the brush itself, but it'll come out lighter. Because it's a layer paint, like I said, it will blend in, self-leveling, if you would. And if you also notice, now I'm doing almost all downstrokes. That is to try to simulate lighting coming from above, which will highlight raised edges from above. So on this one, I think I'm going to change things around on here too. Some of these details I'm going to pick out in metallic, I think, just because it'll give it another variance on the other model. Like I said, I want this model to be different from the other one to make it easier to differentiate between itself and the matching twin. So it's a really nice, beautiful day out here today. Went out for a nice motorcycle ride earlier. That was nice. When I first went out around, I think it was 11:45 a.m. It was cold enough that I needed to wear my riding gloves, and by the time I finished eating lunch, I had to take them off because I was warm. And I did not need them for the rest of the ride. Now we're going to dip into the next light color, which this one might be dead, and I have to go to the newer one. So this is pretty scarce and sad in here. And very watery. This is really going to bring out any sharp edges, anything that wants to be highlighted or doesn't want to be highlighted will be highlighted. Now, this color you actually have to be a little careful with, because this color is a base paint. This is Celestial Gray, and the base paints are not as forgiving in their opacity. They will, but that's also a good thing for what I'm using it for. Is that final, well, it might not even be the final pop highlight. I could break out white. This lets you see all the details, though. And it's really starting to look like stone. Weathered. I never noticed those. There's little caps. Probably supposed to be brass. I'll paint them brass. That could be different from the other ones too. All right. Oh, Apple Dog's here. Hey, what's up, Sonia? How's it going? I don't know when you posted, but I just looked over to the camera now. How are you doing today? Nom nom nom. Shouldn't you be Apple Cat, by the way? That would make more sense to me. Oh, you have a dog. That's right. You actually own a dog. Forgot. I keep associating you with Brian's cats. Alright. I'm going to actually take some of this. I have white available. I'm going to mix pure white in with this to bring it up even more. There we go. Even whiter. So that's the Dawnstone, that's the Celestial Gray, and this is the white Celestial Gray mix. This will kind of be a gentle, brisk walk through. So I'm going to hit this up with a heavy wash, so this will just give it the ability to keep some of the highlights, because I am using such a heavy wash after I'm done with this. That will help. You might say, well, James, why don't you just skip the last one, or even the last two, and just go right into it? Because you won't get as good color depth. When you have good color depth, you can tell. And it makes a lot of difference. put effort into something, you get results back. Do have exciting news, Sonia, if you're still there. You still there, Sonia? And Groundhog, too. Got a job interview on Monday. I know that sometimes you go off and do your work stuff, so that's why I'll check before shouting it out. A maintenance position. The one I'm going to on Monday is actually for assisted living homes. It covers all sorts of maintenance, including grounds, building, room maintenance, offices, things like that, electric work, carpentry, a whole bunch of different stuff. So got that going on Monday, and I got another job lined up that is, it's not an interview yet. It's not the interview stage, but it's another, how do you say, what would you call it? It's not an interview, but like the pre-interview, which is weird. It's through the second one through a staffing agency. Connecticut uses a lot of staffing agencies. And there we go. Actually, do I want to use that? No, I don't want to use that. I want to use an Illinois. Oh, here there's an Illinois. So staffing agencies, they'll approve you first. They'll do like set up questionnaires and stuff like that, and then they'll pass that on. Once they deem it you're qualified for the position that you may be a good fit for, they send you from there to the company that they represent, and then they do an interview, and then they decide whether or not they're going to hire. So I did find out today that a job that I was actually really excited about that I applied for did not come through. I don't think I have the rights to challenge it, but I'm going to talk to, they have a reference person on it that you can talk to them to ask any questions. So I left a message on their voicemail. So there's that. It's kind of sad, you know, but it actually doesn't pay as much as the second job that I'm looking at. The second job is significantly more money. But they do this weird, super weird work shift. 12 hours a day, 2 days on, 12 hours, 12 hours. Then you get 2 days off, and then you work the weekend. And then you come back and you get Monday and Tuesday off again, if you start Monday, Tuesday. So it's two days on, 2 days off, weekend, and then 2 days off, 3 days on. No, wait. Every other week you get a 5-day weekend or something like that. And the way that they have it structured and set up is every week you get 48 hours in 1 week, every other week. And then every other week you get 36. So you end up getting a net gain overtime hours. Curious as to their turnaround rate is for their employees, because this sounds like it could burn out a lot of people. Don't know yet. I've worked crazier hours than that though. I've worked 12-hour shifts for months. Those suck. Your little brother does the 2-3 That's crazy. How does he like it? Is that a normal thing where you're at, Groundhog? This is legitimately the first time I've ever heard of it. I know when I was working for the government, in the civilian world, they were trying to, the people who I was working for were trying to get what's called the 410s. You come in and work 4 10-hour days, and then you have every Friday off, or a additional day off during the week. So, and that would change from person, whomever got the day off would be different on each day. So like Frank would have Monday off, and you, John, would have Wednesday off. Someone would end up with Friday off, but that would end up, you probably, in order to keep people happy, you would cycle through who has Monday and who has Monday, Friday, and the weekdays, middle of the weekdays off, keep everything fair. And that's to cut down on parking spaces and travel time for employees. So he alternates between days and nights? That's gotta be brutal. That's the worst. I've had to switch from days to nights, and it's awful. So when you're doing a wash like this, you're gonna get pooling, depending on how you have the model sitting. So like right now I have the model facing horizontally, like this, and it's pooling down. But if I was to take the model and turn it up like this, all that watery goodness is gonna go down into the cracks. So you end up having pooling towards the base of things, which can be good, except when you have little bases like this, where that lip right there is going to end up catching all of the wash. So when you're doing a wash like this, you kind of have to watch out for that. What I am going to do, and I'll probably do it after I'm done here, after this all dries, is go in and darken up the interiors of all these little recesses. There's tons of recesses in this thing. This is a really high detail model. For a terrain kit, this is a really good terrain kit. Eva has already declared that she wants me to get another one to paint for her, so she can have a cemetery kit. Cemetery terrain. And actually I have a whole bunch of ghosts and spirits that I've painted for a Age of Sigmar army. You can see some of those models on my starting soon screen. As it cycles through, I got a vampire that's in there, dragon, undead giant bat dragon thingy, which is really cool. It's big too. It's like probably about that big. Wings. The wings are big. They're almost the size of my hands. Just bring that up. Show it to you guys sometime. In person on camera. And in case anyone ever wonders why someone would charge money to do this, we've all been watching, and even doing a simple dry brush with a wash on it, depending on the model, it just takes time. Things just take time, and time is money. Yeah, actually, I actually bought this cemetery kit once already for myself, and my friend Matt wanted it because he got himself a bunch of the Undead guys too, and he wanted to make a diorama. So I gave it to him, and of course, him being I love you, Matt. A penny pincher, which he knows he is, was like, what can I give you for it? I'm like, bro, I'm not going to use it. I don't need it. Here, take it. That made him feel all weird and awkward, which I love. Love making him feel weird and awkward. Buying him lunch. He gets upset. I don't expect anything back from him. That's what friends do in my world. It's like the Linkin Park song. The moon, or the sun doesn't give the light to the moon, expecting the moon to owe it one. Time and material, cost of paint, nominal. I'd buy the paint anyway. Time more than anything, because you're using your experience and your skill to accomplish something. That to me is more valuable than the materials. Which also, when I do commission stuff, depending on the model, depending on the person, meaning if it's like a close, good friend of mine, I've painted things for people for ridiculously low cost, and I typically try to come in low anyway. Because if it's a model that I like, if it's a model that I really want to paint, I'll do it for essentially next to nothing, comparatively to what I perceive my quality of work. Yeah. Because what comes with time? Experience. And what's worth more than anything? Experience. Time is the only finite resource. It's the most finite resource there is. Terrifyingly finite. We are all going to die, and we don't know when. Unless you're a Cyclops. And that's a throwback to the movie Skrull. God, that movie's old. I am Tar, the Beastmaster. That's from the movie Beastmaster. And I loved that movie as a kid. I still like it now. I want to watch it. I gotta find out where I can watch that. I wonder if it's on Amazon. 1980s high fantasy or dystopian fantasy. It's hard to tell. The gray on this is coming out much greener. I don't know if it's the lighting. I changed my light bulbs out. But this looks much greener than it did last time. There was on this whole time thing and charging what you're worth, there was a engineer, very, very brilliant man, doctorate, all that jazz, and he gets a call from a place on a machine that he actually designed, and the machine's not working properly. So he goes to the site and he looks at it, and he takes his day or whatever. He finds out what's wrong, and it's just a bolt. A bolt broke, and he found the broken bolt or whatever it was. Resistor. It was a resistor. It was something minuscule, tiny thing. A little resistor that went bad, but it caused the whole machine to go bad. The resistor itself is only, 35 cents. He replaces it, and he sends the bill, $30,000. And it only took him like 7 hours to fix, to do the whole thing, soup to nuts. Start to finish, 7 hours. And the owner of the business, the guy who owns the machine now, he gets livid. He's like, oh my God, you're charging $30,000 to fix this machine. All it was a resistor. It only took you this long. How can you justify that? So he wrote him a bill of sales for his time there. And his bill of sales read as such. Resistor, 35 cents. Time to find resistor, 8 hours, $60 an hour, X amount of money. The remaining money, knowledge on how to determine resistor bad, the rest of the money. So, that's something to be said about knowledge. And someone also said to me once, very recently, experience doesn't go bad. If you've done something, you have that experience. It doesn't expire. Driver's license expires. Experience doesn't. Okay. I'm gonna set this down somehow, now that I got it covered in paint. Right here. And hope that it doesn't pool too much. Alright. What we got? Oh man, it's already 5:30. So, man, I did not get as far as I wanted today. This whole time thing. Time is a construct made up by man to separate the instances between electrical impulses in our brain. Thoughts. Alright, so what we got done today. We dry brushed the hell out of this, brought it all the way up to near white, and then we brought it all the way back down. We also painted that copper and then removed the paint, or covered the paint. That one is going to eventually look like this guy, except he is going to be much dark. Wow, much darker. That extra layer of highlight really, when this is dry, is going to be picked out so much more. So much darker. That's good, because like I said, you need differentiating between the buildings. And on these, being the same building, they have the same base. So that one has a very, oops, dropped that part. Has a very white, and this one has a very gray. And I actually have our sarcophagus cover for that one. And it doesn't match that one. So this one definitely goes on there. So this one has a sarcophagus cover, and this one does not. That one's gray, that one's white, a little blue tint. But yeah, that's these. So this guy's gonna go like that. And then this guy is gonna go on here. And I'll show you guys the finished product on Tuesday, because I'm gonna get this done over the weekend. On this guy. That's how these guys go. They look really good. So this guy's gonna get his brass ceiling. On Tuesday, what I'll do, I'll get this all but the verdigris done on it, and then I'll be able to do the verdigris, because that's what I said I was trying to do today. And then I realized that I'm a big dummy, and my paintbrushes came apart. Ooh. Woo. That's why you don't leave your paintbrushes sitting in your water pot, because it dissolves the glue, and then it comes off. Now it's back. I wanted to do the verdigris, but then I realized a quarter way through that I need to do all this dry brushing. So, but that's that. That's done now. It is done. What is done is done. All right, and we're gonna call it for the day. We ran about another hour. We gotta say hi to Guinness though. Guinness. Guinness! Hey, Guinness! Guinness! Hey! Hey! Guinness, want some food? You wanna go outside? Guinness! Oh, he got up and ran away from me. Guinness is being a buddy. He's like, I don't want to hang out with you. He's bored. He's not tired. He's bored. There's a difference. I know when he's tired. Oh, he's making noises. Point the camera at the ceiling there for a second. Fix that. Okay. There goes the camera there. He's not tired. He's bored. That's all. So On the exciting news, Monday we'll be back finishing working on Zubat. I have everything else done with this. I'll save one thing to do the verdigris on. It'll either be the roof on that, or it will be the statue on this. So this whole statue is going to be brass, bronze, copper, whatever, shiny, reddish, metallic, and then heavy verdigris on it. Alright, well that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you. Good night to you, good sir. Good night, Sonia, if you're still there. Anyone else in chat who's lurking? Where it says there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It says there's 11 people in chat, including, or not including Groundhog. There. And in here, it says there's 5. So, whatever. It's not about the numbers, it's about the quality, right? That's what I'm sticking to. Only got 5 people. I don't know who's on. Hold on, I gotta see who's on. Who is on? Ooh, Akumel Art's on. I like him. Her, should say. Alright, A-K-U-U-M-E-L. A-K-U-U-M-E-L. So it's / raid A-K-U-M-E-L. Enter. Okay, 3 viewers. This girl does amazing digital art. I don't know what she's working on right now, but I watch her. I favorited her. She's pretty awesome.
Welcome on in. Now making my baby hot, bro. She deserves it. I want. Oh man, this dip right here. Gosh, say less. Having you some new friends. Welcome, new friends. It's a pleasure to have you. My name is Mel. If you're new here, it's nice to meet you. I'm a full-time illustrator and streamer, and I just like drawing hot girls. I draw hot men sometimes too, but gosh, girls, say less. You know what I mean?